Hey, Baylor fans, this is your call to gear up with Harley-Davidson of Waco. Whether you're hitting the open road or tailgating at McLean Stadium, we've got the ride to match your Bear pride. Check out our wide selection of new and pre-owned motorcycles, visit our service department, or shop all the latest gear and accessories to show off your Baylor spirit and Harley pride. Visit us today and find your freedom on two wheels. Harley-Davidson of Waco, where Baylor fans never ride alone. Visit in-store or at hdwaco.com. Sic Em Bears.
Welcome into the Sic Em Podcast, presented by Harley-Davidson Waco. Our guest, Bella Fontleroy from Baylor Women's Basketball. How you doing? It's great to see you.
I'm good. How are you, John?
I am doing fine, thanks. Looks like you're at Foster. You're ready to put up some shots here as we.
Yes, I just did this morning.
Yes. That's great. This year for you guys, let's go back to your high school, coming out of high school, Springfield, Missouri. Am I right? I love saying this. Kickapoo High School. Is that right?
Yep. Kickapoo. Yep. Kickapoo
I love
Chiefs.
it. What was it? What's your mascot?
The Chiefs. And
Gotcha.
Our uniforms were brown and gold. It was quite a time.
Ooh, brown and gold.
But they were nice. We had good uniforms.
Really?
We got some new ones my junior and senior year, and I was like, oh yeah, these are nice. We look
Okay.
good.
All right. I'll take your word for it on brown and gold. The Chiefs. Have you ever heard of, and I don't know what this goes back to, but have you ever heard of Kickapoo Joy Juice?
No. What is that?
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but in the back of my mind, that's something. Maybe that was a nickname for Mountain Dew or something, but
Okay.
Kickapoo Joy Juice is out there somewhere.
I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah, but I love the name Kickapoo High School. To Baylor, and we're glad you're here, and you are in the middle of a great career here at Baylor. Have things turned out like you hoped they would?
Absolutely. I think every year that I've been here, I've grown so much as a player, but not only as a player, as a person. I actually was talking to one of my teachers the other day, and I'm just really thankful for the connections that I've made here. Like, being this age and going through the world as it is right now is a difficult thing to do, and I'm very thankful for the support that we have here. It's awesome, and I love it here.
That's great. And you are one who, takes advantage of the resources that are here, right? Not just athletically, but academically, spiritually, socially, everything. You really take advantage of that.
Yes, I do. I've been a part of our iDisciple program where we kind of go through, I think it's 8 weeks of learning how to minister the gospel to people, and just talk about being a person who walks in faith and just calling others to come join you and follow Jesus. I also am a part of SAC. I'm our community engagement chair for the second year now. And I've gotten to do some cool community outreach events. And this year I'm targeting more things that the student athletes are interested in, just to get us more involved and serve the community that serves us. And then, of course, just as a student, I try to connect with my peers because we're always so busy with basketball. But just there's a lot of awesome people and resources here. So I definitely want to take advantage of them with my time that I have left.
That's great. It's great that you recognize the opportunities and take advantage of it. Where does that come from? Your parents instilled that in you?
Yes, actually. My dad has always been a big basketball guy. So he's like, okay, one day the ball is going to stop bouncing and basketball is going to be done with you. So you have to figure these things out. And then my mom has always been really big about getting me involved in other things. For a long time, my identity was found so much in my sport. And that actually is a part of my testimony about whenever I tore my ACL going into my sophomore year of high school. I was like, okay, God, I'm going to give it to you. And whatever I do with the rest of my life, I'm going to use it to glorify you. And so anytime that I get a chance to do anything, whether it's basketball, mentorship, any type of thing, I like to just, I don't know. I try to let them shine through what I do. So
love it. So proud of you for that. Thanks for doing that. Sounds like that injury in high school was kind of a turning point for you.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. It took about 9 months for me to get cleared. It actually was kind of perfect timing because it was right before COVID happened. And so my whole rehab got extended because they'd shut down the rehab facility up in St. Louis where I was doing my testing to get cleared. So it was nice. I just had a lot of time to reflect and spend time with my family and friends, and just kind of be a kid for a while, even though there were so many things happening in the world. And I feel like it really set me back on the right track, and I really centered myself before beginning to play again. And I think that's why I've been able to have so much success, because I came back with a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, John. I'm not going to lie. I dropped in the rankings and things. Not that those ever have been the end all be all. But I was like, you know what? If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it big. And look at me now.
All right. Look at you now. I like that. That's so good. You did come back with a vengeance, I would say. I mean, Gatorade Player of the Year in the state, McDonald's All-American nominee, 2-time district champs, at high school. What was the recruiting process like for you, and how'd you end up choosing Baylor?
The recruiting process was actually kind of stressful. So I don't tell very many people this story often, but I actually had 2 phones. My mom works for AT&T, so it wasn't like a huge deal to get an extra line.
Right.
But I was like stressed out. I was like, Dad, I need you to take this phone. Like, I don't want to talk to these people all the time. And I'm a people person. Like, if you know me, I love talking. I love connecting with people. And that's one thing I love about my sport, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to meet all these cool people. But it had me pretty stressed out. I was like, okay, I'm only taking calls at this time. And of course that didn't align with anybody's schedule. So I'm still getting calls left and right. But there were a few schools that I had talked to for a really long time. My top 5 ended up being Arkansas, Arizona, Virginia Tech, Texas Tech, and then here. And Baylor was actually my last visit. Nikki was the last official visit that I scheduled and committed to. And I told her, I was like, I'm going on 5 before you. I have a week of camp and something else thrown in the mix. So for 7 weeks straight, I was traveling. And I was like, I'm going to hold out until I get here. And then whenever I got here, I just knew it was home. Just seeing how comfortable my family was interacting with the staff, the resources, and just the basketball history here, the history of excellence. A Baylor degree is a really big deal too. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to have to pull the trigger on this one and do it. And I ended up committing. Nikki came to our first official practice my senior year. And I was like, I don't know what you expected today. Thank you for coming. But I told everyone else no, and I'm coming to Baylor to play for you. And it's just been a dream since.
Isn't that a great feeling? I mean, when you go through that, I can see how stressful it can be, but you go through that and you find the right place, and it just feels right, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. One of the biggest moments for me, my little brother wants nothing to do with basketball most of the time. My older brother played, I played, both my parents played, my dad played professionally after college. And he actually had Coach Nikki teaching him how to do between the legs on the sideline. And I was like, wait a minute, you have a basketball in your hands? I was like, okay, there might be something special about this place. So.
Who's that? Is that Tripp?
Yes. Yeah.
Tripp.
It's actually his birthday today.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Tripp. That's great. Yeah. Good timing. Very good. And what about your dad's playing career? I didn't know about that. Tell me more about that.
Yes, he was overseas in Germany. Where all did he play? He was in Germany. I think he said Austria. He was in France at some point. They of course traveled to play. But he actually had it was like a 20-year reunion thing, I think my freshman year of college, and brought back some merch for me. But just very proud of him. The way that he has let basketball carry him through life. I love connecting with people. And I think I get that from him, because the way that he's still in our community is a coach and a mentor, and just does things. He loves working out the kids. He says that they're a pain in the butt, but I'm like, Dad, you're never going to walk away from it. I know you love it too much. But no, he was the real deal. I owe everything that I know about this game to him and others, but he instilled a lot of how I play and my values on the court in me.
Very cool. Hey, that's great to hear. You are, I got to visit your class with Professor Jerry Hill. That was fun. Mm-hmm. A sports writing class.
Yes.
It's fun to be there and see you in there. And that's something, again, beyond basketball, maybe in the media, maybe writing, maybe broadcasting, is something you might be interested in.
Absolutely. Like I've said for a million times now, I love connecting with people. There's no I don't think that there are very many realms where you get to do that like you do in sport. The travel, the interactions, the experience, and just the relationships that you build in sport. I think that being able to be around basketball whether it's color commentary, doing things behind the scenes, calling games. Like there's so many options to stay around it and stay connected. And I would love to continue doing that after I'm done playing.
All right, very good. That's good to know. And we're going to look for opportunities for you because I think you're a natural. I mean, I think you'd be really good at it with your personality and how well spoken you are. So that's my promise to you is we're going to find you some opportunities. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, that sounds great.
That'll be fun. Very good. Tell me about Big 12 Beyond Borders. You're part of that. You and Matthew Kloffenstein from football. Yes. What is Big 12 Beyond Borders?
Big 12 Beyond Borders is kind of a cultural immersion program. And we're able to hopefully this upcoming summer/spring. I'm not sure. We don't have dates yet. We're planning on going to Mexico City, I believe. But we just are learning about different backgrounds and cultures, and how the way that we perceive each other just makes us interact as humans now, and learning from our past. While we were there, we did a community outreach event as well. We went to one of the local elementary schools, and we went, and all of the like coaches and the admin did a wellness room for the staff, and then we got to feed the kids, have lunch with them. We fed them some Chick-fil-A, and then we went upstairs and played some games. But that stuff like that makes my heart really happy. And then, of course, I got to connect with some of the best in the Big 12 from an admin perspective, coach perspective, but then also the student athletes. And we all are still really close. We have a group chat that we all check in, text each other. When we play each other, we all take pictures. But just the experience was really awesome to get to learn that us as student athletes, we're learning our history and why we are the way we are, how we can make the future better for ourselves. And then also the coolest part that we got to do or participate in was we got to go to Capitol Hill, and we got to talk to lobbyists and just people who work up on the Hill and talk about different topics that we were passionate about. So like my group, we were talking about education reform.
Wow.
And we were talking about charter schools, and just how we can find different ways for funding to allow there to be more resources for public schools that kind of match those private and charter programs, the voucher programs. So it was a really cool experience. It was a good time.
Sounds like it. So that was in Washington, D.C. last summer, right? When you went and had that first experience with that. And didn't y'all go to some of the museums there, like the Holocaust Museum?
Yeah. And then the National African American Museum as well. And then the American Indian Museum as well. So we just it was jam-packed day to day. We were there for like a full week, I think. But it was an experience that I wouldn't trade for anything. Beyond being an athlete, that student part too, it's the learning and just the immersion and things. Being here at Baylor has afforded me a lot of opportunities, and that's one of the coolest ones that I've been able to be a part of so far.
Wow. Sounds like it. Sounds like you're the perfect representative, you and Matthew from Baylor for that. So that sounds very cool. You're also part of the Women's Basketball Oversight Committee with the NCAA, Student Athlete Engagement Group. That's a big deal. I mean, you're the Big 12 representative for women's basketball. What does that entail?
We have monthly meetings. It's usually like the third Sunday of the month. I missed our last one because we were in the Bahamas. But we just talk about different topics. Like, for example, one of them was what we want in the activity rooms whenever the Final Four happens or when we get to the NCAA tournament. Just different games, different entertainment, different options. We talked about should travel or practice players be able to travel? What is the convenience for that like how does it vary from program to program, conference to conference? Travel with conference realignments and things happening, what should be considered off days? There's so many different topics that we get to give feedback on. And I try to come back to my teammates too and let them know. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm talking about. And then I've asked Coach Nikki about some of it too. They've talked about the house settlement and different things. So it's just, there's a lot of moving parts. But it's really cool to get to be a voice that's a part of that. There's a lot of awesome people that are a part of that group.
Yeah, that's such an honor, I would think, for you, to be selected to be a part of that. You're helping, I mean, you're really helping to shape the sport of women's college basketball with the NCAA.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah. What are some of the initiatives? You mentioned some of those, like the activities room at the NCAA tournament, things like that. What are some other kind of hot topics or topics that y'all are talking about that you can help shape?
Definitely the travel days.
Yeah.
Um, that's one thing that I know I personally am like, okay, I want to get my homework done and do these things, but if we're not getting back until super late because of our conference realignment, I mean, our travel is going to be kind of ridiculous. And it's not just Baylor, like it's every school that's a part of this. With the way that things are being shaped now in the terms of Power Four, just travel is a difficult thing. Student athletes have to be able to rest and stay on top of their work. So just trying to make that happen. You're fine. Go ahead. No, you're good. But that's one of them. And then another big one that we talked about recently was definitely the practice players being able to travel during tournament time. It's now a thing where they actually can. We brought 3 with us to Oregon whenever we went up there a few weeks ago. But they are allowed to travel. But once tournament season starts, they aren't as of right now, but they're trying to see if they can have some reform and reshaping of that rule, just at the convenience of each individual school.
Wow, that is great. I mean, you are that's a key position, and it sounds like they listen to you. The suggestions
Absolutely.
you make, you and the others, on this committee, they listen to you.
Yeah, big or small, they definitely take
Yeah.
it all in for us.
Yeah. Very good. How about on the floor this year? You know what I like about your team? One of the things I like, there's a lot, but one of the things is the balanced scoring. You got six players averaging double figure scoring. Now Jan is one of those, and she's out. And you're right there at 9 points, 9.1 points per game.
Mhm.
Also, that balanced scoring is really a plus, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. We always say sometimes you, sometimes me, always us. So just whoever it is, no matter who it is, we have just an opportunity to go out and perform and star in our role that night, whether it's scoring, whether it's rebounding, getting defensive stops, anything like that. Hi, Mata. Sorry, our director of ops is walking by.
Bring him in.
Oh, he's all the way on the other side, or else I would.
Yeah, no problem.
But no, we have a lot of versatility, a lot of talent. And I think the biggest thing that carries over and makes that possible on the court is how much we love and support each other outside of just basketball. That human connection is something that we are really strong in this year as a team. And you can tell in our fun moments, like whenever Wise gets in and she hits back-to-back threes and we're all jumping up and down, like there's a lot of really special things about this group. And I think that's at the core of why we're successful.
Yeah, I love it. You can tell you all support each other. There's no, it doesn't matter who starts. Everybody's going to play. Everybody's going to contribute. One night it might be your night. One night it might be Bug's night, somebody like that. But you're happy, the common goal is to win and everybody do their best.
Yes, absolutely.
That is fun. You mentioned this earlier with the expanded Big 12, with some of the legislation with travel. One other thing is conference play is going to start so early this year, before Christmas. That's never happened before.
No. Yeah,
I'm
definitely looking forward to it too, because I am like a 2-hour drive from Lawrence.
Oh, nice.
So I will be home for Christmas sooner than most of my teammates. But also it's nice too, because I have a lot of family that will be able to come down for the game. But no, it's really crazy. There definitely seems like it's going by fast. Like usually we have back-to-back games, but this past 2 weeks of a stretch has been a little bit tiresome, but we have learned so much about ourselves as a group, and just have been implementing it as we go. But I'm definitely looking forward to conference play starting. Conference is going to be tough this year. We have a lot of really good new talent. There's been a lot of transfer portal madness, so new teams and then teams that have completely reloaded and reformed. So it's going to be a good year this year in the Big 12 for sure.
Well, I didn't think about that. Your opener at Kansas right before Christmas, that works out really well for you, doesn't it?
Yes, it sure does. It sure does.
Very cool. Well, thanks for being with us. And really, sincerely, thanks for the way you represent Baylor. You do that so well on the court, off the court, with Big 12 Beyond Borders, with the Oversight Committee. I'm really proud for you, and may God continue to bless you in what you're doing. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day.
And you too. And we're going to find opportunities to get you some broadcasting experience. Okay.
Yes, please.
You'll be the host of the Sic Em Podcast before you know it.
Oh, I don't know if I want to take that one over. That's a lot of work.
You could, believe me, you could do it. If I can do it, you could do it. Thanks, Bella. Appreciate it.
Of course.